welcome back to the AAA Race Show. I am your host, Austin Aziz, Wheelman for Hire, come to you from the Stag Studio with my co-host here, Jimmy. And this is a new week on the AAA Race Show. We have NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Formula One this week. And we won't get to see the Truck Series for another week. But anyways, it was an awesome week over at the Roval. It poured over in Japan, and we have so much to talk about, and I'm really excited for this show. So let's get into it. We'll start out with the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They were at the Roval with the NASCAR Cup Series this weekend, and just a great show. These next-gen cars have been putting on great shows at these racetracks, and we've been able to really see people that maybe didn't have the same equipment as these powerhouse teams like Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, Penske, be able to really compete, and it's really bringing out the best drivers, not just the best money. But for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, we had colleague racing. AJ Allmendinger still undefeated at the Roval. AJ Allmendinger gets his fourth straight win at the Roval. He's never lost a race at the Roval in the Xfinity Series. That is so crazy. I thought today was the day. There's no way he was going to win another. Saturday was the day, and there's no way he was going to win another one, but he just is able to pull it off. He's really good at this racetrack, and AJ Allmendinger is really good at all road courses, but this one and AJ just really seem to click. But as we head on over to the NASCAR Cup Series, they were also at the Roval on Sunday, and they did have a safety meeting before the race about concussions, since we know Kurt Busch is still out, and Ty Gibbs is filling in for him there at 2311. But we also have Alex Bowman, who's being filled in by Noah Gragson. So they had to talk about how we can make these cars safer and what the work they've been doing to make these cars safer for next year, so we can see no injuries out there on the track. So they're going to be changing a lot of things, and they also got to take a lot of drivers' perspective, which I think is nice, because the drivers maybe they definitely have a different perspective than just a spectator, because they can see what's happening, and they can feel what's happening to their own body. But as we get to the actual race, it was a really tame Roval race. You know, Roval is normally one of the most intense races of the season, but the first, all the laps besides the last 5 laps were tame, and we saw a lot of people get great stage points, including Kyle Larson. Joey Logano got some good stage points, Ryan Blaney. So not a lot of guys that really had bad days, but when we got to stage 3, we saw a lot of people's playoff hopes go upside down. We'll start off with Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez having a great day for Trackhouse Racing. He was in the playoffs. He was in the playoffs, and basically if he could just hold his position, then he was going to make it to the round of 8. He ends up having a power steering issue, which is a hydraulic fluid. They don't know yet whenever I'm shooting the show. They may know by the time it comes out. You never know. Depends on how YouTube is. But anyways, the hydraulic fluid could have boiled, or it could have just leaked through one of the hoses. Either way, they tried adding more fluid. He lost so many positions, though. He was almost out of the playoffs because it still was not handling right, and he could still not drive the car like he wanted to. So he was going to have a lot of guys crash out of the race. Next, we see his teammate, Rush Chastain, come off the corner, hit the right rear toe link, break it, and that brings Rush Chastain to pit road. He is still in the playoffs, though, because he had such a good points deficit, because he had such good points. So Rush Chastain got cut a little bit of a break there. Third, we see Kyle Larson. Now, Kyle Larson came off, and he broke his toe link, which, Kyle Larson fan, I've mentioned that a few times on the show. But anyways, he breaks his toe link, comes to pit road. It takes them a while to fix it, and he ends up coming off 5 points to the good. And before this all happened, he was 28 points secured. So I was not worried at all. I don't think anyone was. But he just overdrove the corner, got loose, and hit the right rear toe link. So now Kyle Larson is 5 laps down. He cannot do anything. The only people that can change it is Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric. They're the only people that can gain positions because, like I said, Daniel Suarez is also laps down. Chase Briscoe makes a great run at the end of the race. Austin Cedric ends up spinning out, and Chase Briscoe passes 11 cars between the first caution and the end of the race. That is crazy how he was able to get by that many cars. He had teammate help, and he's able to secure himself into the playoffs. But I think the biggest story of the entire week in the NASCAR Cup Series was Christopher Bell coming in on a must-win situation. A terrible round of 12. Must win. He comes out. He gets it done. He gets to the top 5 in the last couple laps. He gets by Kevin Harvick and wins at the Roval. We've seen this happen before. The Roval is a place where we can see big comebacks happen, big things happen, and this big thing really happened for Christopher Bell. It was awesome to see him. There's only a couple people that have been able to win on must-win situations and make it to the next round. Not a lot of people can do that. It's really hard because there's so much pressure. But Christopher Bell was able to pull it off. So congratulations to the 20 team and Joe Gibbs Racing on the big win over at the Roval. Now, Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott are the only 2 playoff drivers to win in the playoffs that are still in the playoffs that have not already been eliminated. Like we saw Tyler Reddick win. So anyways, they're the only 2, so they are really high in points going into the next race. But as we saw with Kyle Larson, if you're not a lot of points to the good, a lot points to the good, because it really doesn't matter. You have to win to be able to secure yourself into the next round. We've only seen one person Christopher Bell lock himself into the next round. Well, Lost Dale Jr. posted there. Anyways, I guess he can spend the rest of the show down there. Anyways, we've only seen Christopher Bell lock himself into the playoffs by points. So you basically have to win to make it to the next round, to secure yourself to the next round. Otherwise, you never know till the last race of the section there, the checkered flag is waved. Like we saw for Daniel Suarez and Kyle Larson, both not make it into the playoffs. Well, as we head on over to, I almost forgot. Now as we get through all the racing, I wanted to save it this time. As we all know, we have my dad's shirt. I'll pull it out here maybe. It's not going to stay over here for long because that is one of the worst smelling things I think I've ever smelled in my life. Wow. Okay, that shirt, we had more food this weekend, and my dad is still wearing the shirt, and he's tried to start fitting it in whenever we have other meals too. So it's not even race day. He's just trying to fit that shirt in. He says it's for extra luck. So I've been trying to convince him that if you wash a shirt and it's clean, maybe Chase Elliott will have a more clean round of 8. He's just not buying it though. So the shirt's gonna stay over there, and I can still smell the my mom's stuff on there. So at least that's helping a little bit. Well, as we head on over to Formula One, it rained and rained and it rained over in Japan. They started the race anyways. You could not see. We saw 3 people, more than 3 people, wreck on the first lap of the race. And that brings us to, well, you'll see. Dang, that's a doozy. Dang, That's a Doozy is brought to you by D&D Welding and Fabrication out of Buffalo, Missouri. If it's made out of metal or you need it made out of metal, D&D can have it handled in a jiffy. So take all your metal problems to D&D Welding. Well, our Dang That's a Doozy for this week was on Carlos Sainz. Now, as you can see, he's in the wall there. Now, as you can see the damage there on the rear of the car. Well, that's not really supposed to be there, and that could probably mean that there's a lot of metal parts that are not in the right place and need put back in the right place. Now, D&D Welding could have that handled, and since they're coming to the United States next race for Formula One here in a couple weeks, they can head over early, have D&D Welding fix it. and be good as new for their next race, which will be in the United States. So D&D Welding and Fabrication have that handled in a jiffy. But anyways, it rained. There was a big time difference between whenever it rained. They red flagged the race because you could not see out there, and they're just drivers going everywhere. They threw it back green, and not a super eventful race. It was really good racing though because of the rain, and we see guys really step forward that were really good race car drivers and have their cars handling right, and were able to make passes in the rain side by side, three wide racing at some points. It was crazy out there in Japan. But it wasn't even a competition for first place. Max Verstappen wins, and I've been saying it, Max Verstappen was going to secure himself and pretty much was the world champion. Well, this week, folks, he's finally done it. Max Verstappen is your world champion for Formula One. He was crowned on Sunday in Japan. He's officially no way of beating him for the remainder 5 or 6 races. You cannot, even if Charles Leclerc were to score max points and Max Verstappen would score 0 points, there would still be no way that Charles Leclerc could catch Max Verstappen. And Max Verstappen is now the world champion. So congratulations to Max Verstappen on back-to-back world championships as well as Red Bull. Well, now, folks, it's time for my favorite part of the show. And it's time for Austin's Absolute. I look into the future. This week on Austin's Absolute, I will look into the future of the Las Vegas race for the NASCAR Cup Series. Let me look into the future. I have it. Martin Truex Jr. will win his first race of the season. Even though we did not make the playoffs, he will be the 20th different driver to win this season. And that was Austin's Absolute. Well, looks like I lost my antenna reader thingy again. But I have an explanation for that this time. It's not only did it just fall off like last time, it just was wearing out and we had to get a new one. This time, I felt the vibrations and I saw the future so clearly that the antenna reader thingy actually popped off of the helmet. That's how strong this reading is. This is most certainly right because I saw into the future so well that the electromagnetic string thing popped off our antenna reader thingy. So that's why that happened. And I'm sure I'll be coming back next week with some stronger antenna reader thingies. Anyways, that's right, folks. It's time to get excited. Get Excited is brought to you by Top Limb Tree Service. If you need a trim, call up Top Limb at 417-880-7867. Toby, Cheryl, and the crew will come out to your house, take care of all your tree trimming needs. So if you need a trim, call up Top Limb. This week we have Las Vegas, NASCAR Cup Series, and Xfinity Series will be there. And that's all we have for the big races. Let's move on over to Springfield Raceway. We'll be having their season championships, so they will still have races after this. But this will be their season championships this week. E3 Speedway will be having their Spooker event on Friday. Southwest Missouri Quarter Association will be there. Go check out E3 on Saturday. And can we get a little effects right here? Thank you. Twister Alley Raceway will be having their Adult Boogeyman. Twister Alley Raceway's Adult Boogeyman will be next week. It'll be on the Saturday. It'll be all adult classes. So Clone, 300, 350, and 400, as well as the Predators Open stock appearing. And we'll have all the classes posted on their Facebook page, and what the prize money will be. Some of these championships are still not decided, and these guys will be racing knowing that they have to win or finish in front of the guy right beside them to be able to win this championship that they've been working so hard for all year. So it's going to be some great racing. The Junior Boogeyman was awesome. This is only going to be amplified, so make sure you go check out Twister Alley Raceway in Butterfield, Missouri on Saturday for their Adult Boogeyman event. And that's all the races that will be coming up next week. But for all of them that I don't cover, make sure you head on over to ORP-TV. Mr. Craig Stagner will tell you all you need to know about all the local races coming up next week. Plus rainouts, weather forecast, and birthdays. So make sure you check out ORP-TV. Folks, it has not been the greatest sports week for me. Friday, high school football, Fairgrove Eagles, they lost their game. Oklahoma Sooners got shut out, which I'm sure Miss Mary Stagner was happy to see, by Texas. Let's see, on Sunday, Cal Larson, my favorite driver, didn't even make the playoffs. So I got fingers crossed for next week that it can be about 100 times better. Maybe we could see Cal Larson win like the rest of the races. So, like I said, hopefully we can see Chase Elliott have a really bad race. Don't tell my dad I said that, but really not looking forward to seeing that shirt anymore. Maybe we could have Kyle Larson win. Maybe the Oklahoma Sooners can win. I don't know. We got all these possibilities. Chiefs will be playing tonight. This is Monday, so go Chiefs. They'll be playing the Raiders. And I think that about does it for our show this week. Everyone, thank you so much for your support. Please make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. And I'm Austin Aziz, Wheelman for Hire, coming to you from the Stag Studio with my co-host here, Jimmy. And remember, folks, this show is brought to you by whatever Mom's making for dinner. Have a great rest of your week.
If I got to drive over the fool in front of me, man, to win, that's just racing.